This is him after they ruled, after the Supreme Court heard his the arguments this morning. Good old real America's voice. Bing, boing, bing, bong.
Nice place. I just finished watching the Supreme Court. It was a beautiful thing to watch in many respects.
In many respects. Also, by the way, does he, because he's a plaintiff in it, does he get a video feed of it that they provide him? Because the rest of us just had to listen to it. So he might have been watching it on Fox News where they just showed pictures and we all heard audio. But whatever.
It's unfortunate that we have to go through a thing like that. I consider it to be more election interference by the Democrats. That's what they're doing. The good news is we're leading virtually every poll. We're leading.
No. I mean, he can bring this up again and again, but it's been drifting Biden's way, especially over the last couple of months.
I don't even know if we have anymore. I'm not sure that we even have a Republican candidate, somebody running, but not making any impact. So as you know, we won Iowa, we won New Hampshire in records, and each one a record. We think we're going to do very well. I'm heading out right now to Nevada for the caucus and the caucuses, and
they're just one caucus. The caucuses are in general, but they're caucusing. It's a Caucasian kind of a thing.
I think we're going to do very well there.
Right. I guess this is Nikki Haley. I guess lost the primary in Nevada to none of these people.
So. Polls indicate we're in the 90s, maybe more than the 90s. We certainly
more than the 90s. Yeah, you wish you were in the 90s.
We did well in a primary that didn't matter.
We really did well in the 90s. I blame The Apprentice. It fucked my life up.
Where they voted very nicely. And we have tremendous support from the people of our country. They hate what's happening at the border. They hate what's happening.
By the way, is it fucking raining there and he's making the press stand in the rain? Or is there like is this that drive up thing where there's like an overhang for cars to pull up and he's just set this up? And this is the only place they can do it. He doesn't want to let them inside or something.
Happening just generally, we're not a respected country anymore. We're laughed at.
No, generally we are.
All over the world, they're laughing at us. And they hate what's happening. They hate seeing it. They love our country. They want it to come back.
Jesus Christ. Is Mar-a-Lago on a runway?
And we're going to do that. If you think about it, had the results of the election been...
What I'm thinking about is how fucking... It explains why you couldn't get $1 billion for this fucking property. Does that always happen?
Different. That would be nice. You wouldn't have the Ukrainian situation with Russia. You would not have had an attack on Israel, which was so horrible. You would not have had inflation. You wouldn't have China talking about Taiwan. You wouldn't have any of the problems that we have today.
Right, because we would have collapsed, and with us, most of the Western Hemisphere.
And you certainly had a broke Iran, and now you have a very rich Iran. Iran was broke when I left. They had no money to give to Hamas. They had no money to give to Hezbollah.
Well, maybe that's why Hamas and Hezbollah managed to make do with fucking paragliders and wire snips, you dumb motherfucker. How expensive does he think this shit was? They've been tearing up the fucking pipes. Look, the UNRWA money that the United States has been giving to help Palestinians, a solid portion of that, 30% of it at least, has been used to put in plumbing throughout the country that fucking Hamas tore up and fucking turned the pipes into missiles. And he continued funding for that during his time in office. Get the fuck out of here.
And now they have $200 billion. Plus, as you probably know, people don't like to admit it, they certainly control Iraq. And Iraq has another $300 billion. So you have a very rich...
Apparently, so money's on your mind. Is it because you're broke or...
A group of countries. And
he almost said companies.
As you know, Iraq should have never happened.
I agree. Iraq should have never happened. It should have stayed basically Mesopotamia in general.
that was a balance against Iran, and we blew out the balance, and now Iran has essentially Iraq. And Iraq doesn't like saying that, but that's the way it is. And
so we're going to attack Iraq when you get into office?
it's a shame. The world is in tremendous danger. We're in danger of possibly a World War III. And we have a man who's absolutely the worst president in the history of our country. Can't put two sentences together. He's not going to be able to negotiate with Putin or Xi or Kim Jong-un.
Well, I mean, he's older and he probably doesn't have the bladder control he had when he was younger. And sitting there while Putin fucking rambles on about 16th century Russian territory is a little rough for anybody.
North Korea, not going to be able to negotiate with anybody. All he knows how to do is drop bombs all over the place. Meaningless bombs, except they...
Meaningless bombs. So the Pentagon, the DoD, all the strikes that they're doing in the Houthi areas to stop the missiles, those are meaningless. Okay.
They kill a lot of people. It costs a lot of money. Every time you see a bomb, it's another $1 million.
No. Some of them are more than that. Most of them are cheaper than that.
And it actually...
Also, the difference between a bomb and a missile, bombs are cheaper. Just saying.
Actually sets us back. We have peace through strength. This should not...
What strength? If you're not going to use the bombs and missiles, you're like, I'm not going to send those. They're fucking expensive.
Not be happening. The Middle East is blowing up.
Well, because they fired on merchant marines and we're fucking them up. I mean, I think really
it's blowing up, and a lot of people are being killed, and it's so unnecessary. So I just say,
is it unnecessary? So we shouldn't. So after people struck our base with a drone, we shouldn't retaliate in any way because it might kill someone, especially the people who tried and successfully killed some of our soldiers in their fucking sleep.
That in watching the Supreme Court today, I thought it's a very beautiful process. I hope that democracy in this country will continue.
It will.
Because right now we have a very, very tough situation with all of the radical left ideas, with the weaponization of politics. They weaponize it like it's never been weaponized before. It's totally illegal. But
seriously, is Mar-a-Lago in... Is that why it was so cheap? Is that why everybody's like, I'm not buying that fucking place. Let Trump buy it. Instead of fucking, you can't even go outside and swim at the pool. You always feel like you're in line for a bombing run.
They do it anyway, and it has to stop. Every one of the court...
Those are jets. They sound close. What the shit?
Cases that I'm in...
Mara LAX.
Well, every single one, civil, whether it's the attorney generals or the district attorneys. You look at Fani in Georgia.
Fani in Georgia.
They had many meetings with the White House and with the DOJ. They went there, 8-hour meetings. That was all.
So they're going to press charges against a former president. It's kind of a big deal. I would rather they coordinate.
Staged. That was a phony hoax, and now you look at it, and it is a phony hoax. And
phony hoax, of course. That's a phrase people say.
Hopefully that case will be dismissed in short order. It's a disgrace to this country. But they work together with the Justice Department and the White House.
Well, they have to, because you're being charged federally as well. So they got to kind of, there's always those territorial disputes. You've seen 80s cop movies. The feds always want their man before the states do, and the states are always fighting back.
And not supposed to do that. Every one of these...
Yeah, they are, actually. Especially post-2001.
Cases you see comes out of the White House. It comes out of Biden.
Really? Is he above your head, like... just dropping logs on you? Is that how it just comes out of Biden? All right.
It's election interference, and it's really very sad. I thought the presentation today was a very good one. I think it was well received. I hope it was well received. You have millions of people that are out there wanting to vote, and they happen to...
They'll still get to vote. I mean, what do you think's going to happen after you pass away? Like, you think maggots are just going to stop voting for anybody? I mean, there's obviously options.
You want to vote for me or the Republican Party, or whatever you want to, however you want to phrase it. But I'm the one running, and we are leading in every poll. we're leading in the local polls, in the state polls, and we're
Wait a minute. Did he say global or
however
local?
however you want to phrase it. But I'm the one running, and we are leading in every poll. We're leading in the local polls.
The global polls. Oh, I didn't realize. So you're winning worldwide. Like I said, does Biden fucking up like Mexico, Egypt because he's talking about a border and blah, 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 and they've been having meetings all morning? Is that a big deal? No, because Biden doesn't go, I have the best words and I never misspeak and blah, blah, blah. This guy does. This guy's like, I have the best words. No one knows these things better than I do. When you set that shit up, you can't fuck up like this. You can't do it. Globally. Yeah, you're doing great globally. Yeah, you win dictators, 4 out of 5 dictators. It's like the dentists who like sugar-free gum.
State polls, and we're leading in the swing state polls, and we're leading
And the swing global polls?
very big in the national polls. So it's been a very great honor. We love the country. I think the
Who's we? You and Tucker?
reason we have such big leads, frankly, is that they loved 4 years of...
I don't know. I don't think... He said local after.
But I'm the one running, and we are leading in every poll. We're leading in the local polls, in the state polls, and we're leading in the swing state polls, and we're leading very big in the national polls. So it's been a very great...
He said global. He cleans it up
honor.
after.
We love the country. I think the reason we have such big leads, frankly, is that they loved 4 years of us compared to the 3 years plus, the 3 years that they've gone.
He said global. It was a B instead of an L. That's global.
With Biden, where you have open borders, you have crime. Nobody's ever seen crime like this. What's
Yeah, they have. Where the fuck were you in the 90s?
happening? And now the crime is being committed, much of it by the migrants that have come in illegally
No, it isn't.
to our country.
Well, I know because I watched a video of this one attack over and over and over again, and basically every time I see it, it's another 5 migrants that are guilty every time.
Wondering about that. I said, a lot of these people come out of jails, they come out of mental institutions, they come out of places that you don't want to know about. We don't even know where they come from. We don't
Well, then how can you say they come out of jails and mental institutions if you don't
know who they are, where they are. They're being dumped in from mental institutions, from prisons and jails, and many.
Well, then some of them, I guess you're going to say that some of them deserve a, I suppose they could all be, they just get an insanity defense then?
Terrorists are coming into our country. We're going to be
crazy terrorists, though, and they're easy to spot because they all act like Jim Ignatowski.
Paying a big price.
On crack.
They have to stop it. They have to close the border. By the way, the president can do it just by saying, I want the border closed.
No, he can't.
Close the border. We had the safest border in the history of our country. Now we have the most unsafe border.
Explain what you mean. I would love for somebody to say, explain what you mean by closing the border. What does that mean? Nobody gets through? No trucks? No legit people getting through? Just all the ports are closed. Everybody on the southern border, all the way along. Like, what happens if anybody runs across? Do we shoot them? Or we just like, how do you push them back? Bayonets or fucking bulldozers? What are you using?
In the history of the world, there's never been a country with a border like this.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, they didn't. Back in the day, they didn't have drones and shit.
Not even a third world country. So,
excuse me, it's not a third world country.
A ninth world country, not a third world country. A ninth world country.
Yeah, get it right.
So we are. Again, we're going out to Nevada right now. We'll be out there. Some of you are going to be out there with us. Otherwise, your colleagues will be. And hopefully, we're going to have a big night. Caucus tonight. We're going to have a very big night. We expect to have a very big night. The Virgin.
But there will be a night, is what you're saying. So at some point, are you going to stay at Excalibur? Is that what it is?
Islands, as you know, are also very much in play today. So we'll be hearing about them sometime during the day. Or
imagine being the former president, and you desperately need to make sure that you secure the Virgin Islands to outpace Nikki Haley
later on in the evening. And it's an honor to have you at Mar-a-Lago. I hope you like it. It's worth a little more than $18 million. There's another case. He says it's worth $18 million. I said, which cabin are we talking about? But that's the kind of justice.
The one without that airplane flying over every 8 minutes that sounds like it's actually landing on the roof.
We have when they say that to try and build up a case. That was a shame. But that gave up so much. When they said that, that gave up so much that Mar-a-Lago's worth $18 million.
That by the way, that's his number.
They had it appraised for, as you know, 50 to 100 times that amount. But we have a judge that's what he said. And he's supposed to be ruling on me.
Yeah, he's going to be. Get used to it.
Who knows? Maybe he'll be fair. I doubt it, but maybe he'll be fair.
Well, if he's fair, you'll owe probably $1 billion too. I would hope he for your sake, you should hope that he's worried about your like maggots attacking people and like brings the number down to a number that hurts, but that you can bitch about and that you could, in theory, you could pay with just the shit you have in New York City. I don't think so.
So I want to thank everybody. And by the way, we proved that case 100%, 5 times over.
Nope.
That case is 100% proven, 5 times over.
That's not a sentence, by the way. We proved that 100%, 5 times over, which would be 500%. If I do the, yeah, something like that.
We've never seen anything like it. He just wouldn't dismiss it, no matter what. Shouldn't be there. It should have been in the commercial division. Anyway. It's an honor to have you. I look forward to
out in the yard. It's an honor to have you out here. Obviously, I'm not going to let you in the building in the rain with the planes flying over because fuck you. But
having you again, and I'll probably see you out in Nevada. Thank you very much.
The U.S. Supreme Court is said to be broadly skeptical in early reporting about the effort to try and kick you off the ballot. Having said that, though, speak to the argument, legal and otherwise, that your detractors have made leading up to the day. And it's an argument that was given voice by Mitch McConnell, the Senate Republican leader, not long ago.
All right, I got the gist.
There's no question.
Yeah, I got the gist.
President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day.
He doesn't say that anymore. So let me just tell you that.
Don't say the part that upsets me.
I heard and I watched. And the one thing I'll say is they kept saying about what I said right after the insurrection.
Yeah, I could see how you could get $1 billion for this property. I mean, who doesn't want to take a relaxing trip? Yeah, surf Mar-a-Lago. Just hang out in Mar-a-Lago. It's all you have to do is cross a 4-lane road to get to the beach, and you have the benefit of a plane going over every 8 fucking minutes. What, you couldn't buy your resort next to a live train yard? Honest to God, we're so used to this shit happening inside. This must be why he does his little videos late at fucking night, right? Right? Because it's the only time that, like, he has to wait until the plane, there's like a no flyover time. That's why he gets up so fucking early. That's why everybody's exhausted doing these interviews, because you have to do them at fucking 6 a.m. because the plane started at 7.
Because I think it was an insurrection cause.
Sounds great. It really is. I can see why you're like, hang out at the pool at Mar-a-Lago.
Nancy Pelosi.
Can I get another margarita?
It was an insurrection.
No, I'm not looking for someone named Margaret. Mar-a-Lago. No, I know the place is Mar-a-Lago. I want a margarita. Just bring me some vodka. Fuck this.
It was an insurrection, which there were no guns, there were no anything except for the fact that they shot Ashley Babbitt.
She had a knife.
Somebody from...
And other people had guns.
Police force shot Ashley Babbitt.
Yeah, because she had a knife, and she had a backpack with God knows what in it, and she climbed through a window that people had just bashed a hole in, and there were still like staff and Congress people in harm's way. That was a guy's fucking job.
So unnecessary, so sad.
Right, but it's your fucking fault. You got her there.
So horrible. But there were no guns. There were no anything. But
yeah, there were. There were guns. There were guns. There were guns there. There were guns, and she had a knife.
You take a look at my words right after. You take a look at my speech from the Rose Garden.
Right, you mean right after it failed and you were in CYA mode?
Which was very shortly after. Or you take a look at I'm only on Truth Now.
Oh, did I bounce off YouTube? What happened? Somebody was saying, like...
But at that time, we were tweeting, and
We were tweeting!
It was on Twitter. If you take a look at those 5 or 6 tweets, you will see...
Yes, during an active battle effectively. Our Lady of Fafo. Yeah, you didn't think they were like, oh fuck, guys, hold on a second, he's tweeting. Sorry, no, keep beating the cop. I'll read it to you.
Very beautiful, very heartwarming.
They were, and I appreciate the fact that he had like violins in the background. Sorry, not violins, violence in the background. That's right.
Statements. Go home.
Heartwarming.
The police are doing their job, etc., etc. Beautiful.
Etc., etc. We love you. This day it will be with you forever. That kind of, especially the ones that are going to go to jail.
Beautiful statements. If you see my statement made in the Rose Garden, I think you have to watch that, because today they said the words of Trump. Now, if you take a look at the words of Democrats over the last period of time, look at Schumer's
The last period of time.
statement about the Supreme Court on the steps of the Supreme Court. He sounded like a mob boss. Take a
Jealous?
look at any of them. Take a look at any. We put together a tape of vicious, violent statements made by Democrats. Nobody brings that up. Take a look at Maxine Waters and the vicious statements that she made. I didn't do that. I said,
You just said show up on January 6th. It'll be wild, and you're gonna have to fight. And if once you walk down there peacefully and patriotically, let your voice be heard. But if Mike Pence doesn't have the strength to do what's right, you're gonna have to be strong, or you won't have a country left. And yeah, talking like a mob boss.
peacefully and patriotically.
Mm-hmm.
The speech was called Peacefully and Patriotically.
It was called. Was it? It was the speech was called that. That was the title of it.
It's peacefully and patriotically. He said I said bad statement. It was the exact opposite. So I think you should take a look at the statements that I made.
Why didn't you go down there with him? You said you were going to go. You said, and I'll be there with you, and you didn't go. So did you not go so that those people would think you'd been abducted or weren't allowed or something bad had happened to you, so they'd be more likely to strike? Because I think you you could argue that in and of itself was an instigation by you saying you were going to go down there with them and then you didn't. There's a very strong chance some of these dumb motherfuckers thought, you'd been stopped from being down there and they needed to defend you and protect you.
Before and after, and you'll see a whole different dialogue.
Dialogue.
Mr. President, you just mentioned Chinese President Xi. You said that you were going to impose 60% tariffs should you get back in office. Can you explain your rationale there?
We want to bring business back to the U.S. They're stealing our business. They're taking
No, they're not.
our business at levels that nobody's ever seen before.
No, that's not true. Literally, we are reshoring businesses from China at a level no one's ever seen before. Fucking hell. So let me see. Where's this? Hold on. I'll bring it up on here. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I was gonna post this earlier if I could. Maybe in the pictures. Yeah. In this. Give me one second, folks. One second. Open up my pictures. There you go. Open. Come on. There you go. And then I go to the library and go back to here. And then I scroll all the way down to all these. Get back at the thing without trying. Because there was a. There it is. Let's see if I can take this. And I think I can put it in my Notion. Yeah, that's a good idea. Where do I put it? In politics. Yeah, put it there. Let me get this over here. Drag this over here. I'll take this picture and I'll drag it to there. Yeah, there we go. And then I can just go over to my Notion over here. This is fun. I like it. This is, technically speaking, this is a good thing. Let's go ahead and put it in politics. And then there was this. Oh, there it is. I open this shit up. See, you want to see this? U.S. trade deficits with China are shrinking. Okay, let me move this. I'm going to make this smaller so you guys can see it better. There you go. This is 2018. Okay, this is where the trade deficit with China was at its peak. Literally during the first 2 years of Trump, the trade deficit, specifically the year and a half, at the end of 2018, they had the highest trade deficit. We had the highest trade deficit with China we had ever fucking had. Okay, and he started catching shit for it. So it started to go down. If you'll recall. What did he do in 2020? What became the top? This is when he started his trade war. and the trade deficit started going down. Then he signed his trade deal with them. Remember that? The phase one of the trade deal or whatever? And look at the deficit after 2020. It starts to climb again after, now part of this is COVID, but part of it is his attempt at a trade deal and what sanctions he had put in that he took off around agricultural stuff that started to go out again. So the trade deficit as far as food goes here. Then Biden starts implementing shit that goes into effect right about here because it's starting to grow and they're like, fuck that. This is last year. This is the United States trade deficit with China last year. It looks like a pipe organ. It does. It looks like an upside down pipe organ. It's true. Yeah, this is Trump. This is midway through Trump. There he goes. And it starts to go down, and then he signs his deal with him, and it starts to go up again. The Trump phase one deal, this is where it goes. And then Biden starts putting a lock on a bunch of shit. Like the Chips and Science Act goes into effect last year. The limitations on technology, the intellectual property rules that Biden puts in place go into effect last year. And pow, look at this shit. Look at the drop off from here to here. Yeah, just saying, as far as his whole, like, nobody's ever seen before. Literally the highest trade deficit in American history with China happened under Trump. Are the steel tariffs still in effect? Yes, they are.
By doing that, we bring business back, manufacturing back to the United States, which I was doing.
No, he wasn't.
I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China.
Yes, we know. They made a deal with you to help you buy the farm vote. We get it.
No president had ever taken in 10 cents. Not.
Okay, now, why does he say that? That's not even remotely true. Here's why. See if I can get this in here. Let's go. Let's go to the news on this one. Hold on. Oh, fuck you, Barons. What are you doing? I don't want that. Yeah, let's just do this one. I'll show you. Why does Trump always say no president ever got 10 cents? Because that's clearly not true. Obama put on steel tariffs, all this other shit, right? Why does he say 10 cents all the time? Why does he say, why? It's a weird thing, right? It's not like, they didn't get one fucking dollar, right? They've never gotten $1 out of it. They haven't gotten 5 cents. Why 10 cents? Why does he fucking say 10 cents all the time? I'll tell you why. Because there's a Chinese company, move around, you silly thing. There you go. Called Tencent. And this dumb motherfucker doesn't realize that when his own staff was talking about putting limitations on payments made through WeChat, which is owned by Tencent, he never was able to do it. Nothing happened with Tencent during his presidency. Even he was not able to make a dent in fucking Tencent while he was in office. Somebody in his cabinet, maybe it was fucking Kudlow or somebody like that, was like, we'd love to get 10 cents. And he's like, yeah, we could get 10 cents out of them. Like, nobody can get 10 cents out of them. Not you, not even. That's why. He doesn't understand that Tencent is a fucking company and that they control WeChat. And WeChat is the company that owns. Tencent's a company that owns WeChat, and WeChat is their primary pay point. It is effectively the biggest digital bank in the world. That's why he keeps saying fucking 10 cent. It is so dumb. And he doesn't catch himself. And he says it all the fucking time. Because again, materially, plenty of presidents have put tariffs on China before, and we've had exchanges with them over time. But the reason 10 cents gets stuck in his head is because he wasn't able to on the trade deal on phase 1 anyways, they were like, everybody's like, nobody gets 10 cent. You know, that's the thing. And he was like, yeah, nobody gets 10 cents except me. This dumb motherfucker. I'm serious. That's why he does it.
10 cents. I took it
All the fucking time. It drives me crazy. And now you guys know. Because and I was so ashamed of myself that it took me that long to realize, like, why the fuck does he keep saying 10 cents? What is the 10 cents thing? And I was like, oh, motherfucker. They tried to get, you know, some sort of, trade limitations on WeChat to help Elon Musk because he was going to turn X into WeChat. That's what Elon Musk wants. He wants to turn X into WeChat, and he wants all the money in it that if you pay for things through X, through Twitter, which is fucking stupid because X is a drug. I half expect Elon Musk to start to change the name of X to Molly so everybody can go, everybody's on Molly now. Like, so dumb. Anyways, this dumb motherfucker it was trying to help Elon Musk make a dent in Tencent so that he could gain some ground so X would actually be like this pay point. And what you'll do is any cash you put into it, let's say you use Apple Pay or something else to buy something through X, it would, what Elon Musk's plan was, use Dogecoin as the transactional foundation currency of X. So you want $10 worth of something, he turns that into Doge and then turns it back into, he pays out either in Doge or in actual cash that's done through that. But while he's at it, blowing up Doge into a functioning currency. That was his plan. It shit the bed, but that's what he was trying to do. And this dumb motherfucker doesn't realize that when they were saying 10 cent, it was about the company.
in hundreds of billions of dollars, and jobs were coming back. I was
They are coming back now.
saving steel companies. Now they're blowing it. When I see U.S. Steel being bought by Japan, what a sad thing that is to me. What a sad thing that is. So we want to bring jobs back. Very simple. Thank you.
Also, by the way, so let me get this straight. You believe the government should stop all multinational corporations from buying or selling American firms. Say that. See how that's received. See what the editorial board of the Wall Street Journal says when you go, I don't believe multinationals should be able to buy American companies or incorporate them into their multinational organizations, and see what that does to the fucking stock market.
President, do you still have confidence in Speaker Johnson after the failed Mayorkas impeachment effort?
I do have confidence in him, yeah. I very much do. I think he's a very good man, and I have great confidence.
He's basically Moses.
Why is Leo Khan, Nikki Haley still in the race when you're dominating in the polls?
Oh, I love that question. Thank you very much. You just said it. I don't know why she continues, but let her continue.
I'm starting to think you only let people that will kiss your ass ask questions.
We have a big one coming up, as you know, in South Carolina. And the polls are...
What was that? We have a very big one coming up in South Carolina.
We're indicating that we're through the roof on that one. We're leading by, I guess, 35%, 35 points. So I don't know. I think she hurts herself, but I think she hurts the party, and in a way hurts the country. But it seems to be dying. She did poorly in Iowa. She did very poorly in Iowa, actually. She came in third place. Ron DeSantis beat her, although you wouldn't know that.
Didn't Trump come in third place in Iowa initially, right? Because he won New Hampshire. That was his big turnaround. Yeah, hold on. No, he came in second, but he was 1 point away from Rubio. He was beaten by Ted Cruz. There we go. Hold on.
You listen to her speech. She did poorly in New Hampshire, she did poorly no matter where she went. I don't know how the results aren't in yet from the Virgin Islands, but I know she's playing it very hard.
Well, how about this? How about she loses the primary, but it's a whisker at certain points, and then you get convicted, and all those people who are Republicans go, the minute he's convicted, I'm not fucking voting for him. And she, in a contested convention, is the person with the most accumulated delegates. And she stayed in, and everybody backs her. Because fuck you.
And in Nevada, she lost to No Name. She had a no name, and she lost by, I guess, 40 points. So I don't.
She had a no name. She lost to none of these people.
I don't know why she continues, but she's a, I don't really care if
She's a what?
she continues. I think it's bad for the party. I think it's actually bad for her too.
Mr. President, thank you for having us on a busy
Thank you.
day here. Given the battles over presidential immunity, I'm wondering if sure all presidents.
You know what? Fuck my question. I just really want to know, is Mar-a-Lago the most relaxing vacation spot in Palm Beach, in the entire area? And I'm sorry, you can't hear me over the airplane. I was saying, is Mar-a-Lago the best? We'll just wait for it to pass. I can ask you in the 6 minutes that's between every flight. Jesus Christ, is this nonstop? I'm dead serious. That's fucked up. Can you imagine paying for like paying a resort fee and all the other shit to stay someplace, and you're out by the pool and this is what you hear?
Well, I can say presidential immunity, which we'll be talking about because that will be upcoming, is very, very important for a president to have. If a president doesn't have immunity, he really doesn't have a presidency. He can be told to do things that he would never do.
What? He can be told? What do you mean? Legal things?
He can do really bad things for our country. Presidential immunity is imperative. It's going to be.
Wait. What? Hold on. Is that a bad thing or a good? What do you mean? Doing legal things is bad? Run that by me again, because what the fuck?
I'm wondering if sure all presidents and vice presidents will be immune from any legal consequences for any action they
Your parents were in Brussels and it was next to a construction. Your hotel was next to a construction site. Well, at least you could kind of go see the rest of the city, I guess. Whereas Mar-a-Lago's the destination for a bunch of these dumb fucks.
take during their term.
Well, I can say presidential immunity, which we'll be talking about because that will be upcoming, is very, very important for a president to have. If a president doesn't have immunity, he really doesn't have a presidency. He can be told to do things that he would never do. He can do really bad things for our country. Presidential immunity is imperative. It's going to be.
It's imperative what? So that he can do really bad things for our country? Oh my God.
Very, very important. And I'd rather talk about that next week, but there is nothing more important to a presidency than immunity.
Well, I mean, I think following the Constitution would be part of that, right?
Because they have to be free to make decisions without saying, oh, if I do this or if I do that, as soon as I get out of office, we're going to be indicted.
Well, no, I think that's one of the things that keeps you from doing like assassinating U.S. citizens because you don't like them and shit like that. There should be a bunch of fucking things that make you not do things that are illegal. Like blanket immunity is a fucking nightmare.
Going to have trouble.
By the way, no president has ever had that, nor would they. Like, again, this is the argument for the kingship of the presidency. And to that I say a resounding fuck no.
And the other party will do that. I think we've seen that. They've done that. There's some very bad people. And you have an opposition party, and they will do things that are very bad. If you don't have immunity, you can be blackmailed.
You can be Isn't Biden being blackmailed now? And by the way, can I just say again, is this fucking nuts or whatever? Like, asshole, you think Biden is a cheater who does all kinds of awful stuff. He's engaged in terrible all the time. And you want the court to rule definitively, finally, that the president has absolute immunity. That makes Joe Biden the most powerful president in history, and it means if he wanted to, he could kill you, and as long as there's not time to impeach him when it happens, he gets away with it. Right? That's the argument. It literally would be giving... So, if you believed any of the shit he says about Biden, that he was that he's a criminal and he's crooked and blah, 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 or even that the people around him use him to do awful in the world, because what do you think, they're going to worry about him? But if they can use his immunity to kill you and get away with it, like, it's fucking crazy.
You can be, as a president, they'll say, if you don't do this, this, and this, we're going to indict you as soon as you leave office.
And you go, fill your boots. Who gives a shit? You'll lose.
You cannot allow a president to be out there without immunity. If they don't have immunity, you don't have a presidency. You lose all, you lose all form of free thought and good thought.
Free thought and good thought.
And you probably weaken the presidency to a point that it was never supposed to be weakened. It would be a very bad thing for our country.
I'm sorry, real quick, follow-up question. How much was it supposed to be weakened? If it was supposed to be, if this is more than it was supposed to be weakened, obviously that means there was a certain amount that it was supposed to be weakened. But if you have total immunity, that makes it, I guess, there is zero weakness.
We'll be talking about immunity in the coming weeks.
Well, that you don't have it. Citizen Trump.
How confident are you that you will be treated fairly by the Supreme Court justices? And what sort of time frame do you need a decision in order for it not to derail the campaign?
Well, I'm a believer in our country, and I'm a believer in the Supreme Court. I listened today, and
it was a beautiful thing.
I thought our arguments were very, very strong. An argument that is very important is the fact that you're leading in every race, you're leading in every state.
Shouldn't make any difference.
You're leading in the country.
And also, you're not. If you're leading in every state, why would any state want to kick you off?
Against both Republican and Democrat. And Biden, you're leading.
So he's not a Democrat?
In the country by a lot. And can you take the person that's leading everywhere and say, hey, we're not going to let you run? You know, I think that's pretty tough to do, but I'm leaving it up to the Supreme Court. Thank you all very much. Enjoy it. Thank you.
What, he's going to leave it up to the Supreme Court? That's because he has to.
On the topic of Iran, sir, is the U.S. doing enough militarily?
Just shut the door on his guy. Well, wait, I'm in there. Yep, they're all in the valet. They're all under the valet lip. And then he's like, bye, thanks for coming down and staying outside. Fuck you. Spectacular. That's just, yeah.